love lives here.
Take a deep breath and anchoring into what we already know. God in everyone. God in you and God in me. In 1963, the Emperor Haile Selassie had unwavering commitment to human dignity. He said his vision insisted that equality and dignity be guaranteed for all, not just a few, resonating deeply with the idea of divine presence in everyone. He talked about every human being is sacred. And that aligns with our principles in science of mind. To see God in others is to awaken to God in ourselves. The divine is present in everyone, no exceptions. So this week, I was inspired by, we've been reading the book You Belong by Sabine Selassie, no kin to the emperor. But and then I was also inspired by listening to, I was invited this week to A Woman's Voice. It was 5 days of different speakers like Marianne Williams and just great speakers. Reverend Dr. Sonny Cantrell was a speaker. There was a lot of really dynamic women that said to us, your voice needs to be heard. And I'm going to say that to everyone in here, your voice needs to be heard. And so I was inspired by Okoye, I think that's the way she pronounces her name, Graham. And she did a one-woman play called Spirit Awakening. And so it falls in lines with the science of mind that we are not separate, and we never was and we never will be. And that falls in line with Sabine Selassie's book, You Belong, that you're not separate, that you never were, and that you will always be. And so Okoye talks about growing up in Africa. And although I don't know if any of us grew up in Africa, but I know Lou spent some time there, and maybe there's somebody else in this room that has been there. And she talked about being African in Africa and letting everything outside be her playground. She talked about, running bare feet and not having to conform to wearing shoes like she did when she came to the UK. She talked about being in that night sky with all the beautiful stars. And I wonder if you remember when you were young, being outside before the street lights came on, but being outside looking up at the stars. And they were so beautiful. And we stayed out long enough to not get in trouble with our parents. But I wonder if you remember that freedom that you felt, at least I did when I was a child, and I know Daryl did. His street had tons of kids on it, and they couldn't wait to get out, to be with each other. And I can remember being out as well with my friends and not being able to part when it was time to go in, but we did. So I wonder if you remember, she talks about coming to the UK and now having to conform to wearing shoes when she once had the open sky to play in and the ground. Now she had to come into this little box. That was their house. And the things that she used to do in Africa, she could no longer do. But she went on to say, that she was not happy with her appearance in the UK. You see, when she was in Africa and everybody in her community looked like her, spoke like her, wore their hair like her, she was accepted. And that's what Sabine Selassie says as well. She's coming from Ethiopia, coming to the United States and not quite fitting into the black culture, not quite fitting into the white culture, but being this strange kind of in-between person. And so she felt like she was being othered. And so did Okoye. She felt like she was being othered. So I think that most of us, or some of us, or all of us in the room can kind of relate to that. You know, when something is unfamiliar to you and you walk into a situation where you are there's not a lot of people that look like you, talk like you, have the same culture as you, you might feel like othered. So she talked about that, and but she was able to move through that. She would go in the house and tell her mom, they're looking at my hair. They want to know if my hair is snakes. My skin's too dark, and all of that. And I wonder if someone told you in your life that you had skinny legs, or, I don't know what it is, but something that made you feel like you didn't quite fit in. And so she says she had to embrace all of her body, her hair, her nose. And in doing so, it springboarded her, moving from this place that she found herself in a new country, a new town with new kids, into a journey beyond barriers and beyond judgment. She was able to love all of her. And we can do the same. It may look different than hers, but it's worth the effort. That song was so beautiful. God, let me know your name. Hold me in the same breath as your word. And Spirit, God, whatever you choose to call it, does. But it's up to us to accept it, to love ourselves. And seeing the divine in everyone starts first with each of us. So I put some mirrors on the tables. And I wonder if you would grab one. Now, there are some that are very tiny. And those are for you to take with you, because what you're going to do later on in the week, today, any time of day, is you're going to look at yourself and see the beauty, see the God in you. And in doing so and accepting that and loving that, then you can begin to see the God, the beauty in everyone else. No matter what their gender expression, color, creed, culture, all of that stuff that they tell us makes us different. But we know in our hearts and in our soul that we're all the same. So the exercise is to first do it and see it in yourself and accept it in yourself first. And then you can do it in others. So there are some mirrors on the table. Please take one. And this exercise is about loving kindness and compassion. And if you have your mirror, just look in it. What do you see? What do you see in the mirror? Oh, the people in the pews don't have mirrors. When you go home, look in the mirror. Look at your beautiful eyes, your nose, your smile, your hair or no hair, whatever it is beautiful. So in the mirror, gaze into your eyes. Breathe and affirm, I am love. Softly to yourself. They're tiny, aren't they? Some of them are. But you can see yourself even if you moved it back a little bit. And you get bigger as you come closer to it. And that reminds me of one of the things she said, when you're on the ground, you look so big. But when you are up in the sky in an airplane, you're so tiny, and everything below you is tiny. So you may think yourself small, but come back down and see yourself beautiful, strong, tall, stand tall. And so look into the mirror and say, I am compassion, and I am compassionate. Now smile warmly and say to yourself, I rejoice in life, and I celebrate joy. So that's your homework, but that's the exercise for today. Who are you? Who are all you people in this room? I know. I bet Ed knows. I bet everybody in here knows. Because we say it every week, you are a divine emanation of Spirit, God, whatever you choose to call it. Saw it on the screen that you're connected, each beautiful little pearl on that diagram that I had a couple weeks ago. And when one is shaken on that, it affects everyone. It affects all of us. So everything that's going on in the world that we've been watching the news, and we see the news, and Daryl could tell you minute by minute what's happening, but I digress. All of that affects us. We may not be sitting in it, going through it, laying in it, doing all that. We may not be there, but when one thing affects one on this beautiful thread of life, joining each and every one, it affects us all. So how can we see the divine in others? I heard this morning somewhere it's an inside job. Start with yourself. You ever saw someone laughing and it made you feel joy in yourself? A baby laughing with the legs up. You know, they found their feet for the first time. All those things that they were saying and we couldn't understand them, now we began to understand that language. So, our Science of Mind connection to all I've said is we are divine, aligned with Spirit. And as far as transcendent is concerned, transcending, we've been doing it all along. We've been doing it all along. So I applaud you for growth, for love, compassion, for joy, for all of that. And we continue. It doesn't stop. We continue. So what changes when we look at someone and inwardly affirm You are an expression of the divine. I am an expression of the divine. You are an expression of the divine. Not the, but you are an expression of the divine, the Holy One, the Father, as you will, if you will, the Mother Spirit. However you see it, however you choose to see it. So we're going to go to our tables, and when we come back, we're going to have a new posture. We're going to stand strong in spirit, the spirit that dwells within us. We're going to know when we look in the mirror, oh, I'm going to say, oh, girl, you're looking good. I see the divine in you. You are an expression of the divine. So please go to our tables. All right, so as I make my way back up to the front, my question is, what if? What if? What if we stop listening to the chatter in our heads because it's constantly being blared at us from our social media posts, our televisions, that we're not enough? What if you didn't allow that to go in? Let it bounce like a basketball off you. So Daryl and I were having a conversation the other night, last night, because he wouldn't stop talking. But in all seriousness, he was talking about our oldest granddaughter. And he was like, what if you didn't point out everything that she made a misstep on? What if you told her how beautiful she is, how she's so smart, how we like the way she played her instrument, that kind of thing? And I remember when we had our adopted son, and he would do things, all kinds of things. And it was very difficult for me to handle it because I'm used to order. I used to be, not anymore, not so much anymore. However, I have grandkids now, so you got to let them be. And that's exactly what Daryl was saying. Let her be. And he wasn't necessarily talking to me because I'm a good grandmother. He was just saying some of the interactions in the home can be a little harsh where she's concerned because she's the oldest. But I'm going to say to you, what if you stop letting social media tell you who you are? What if you stop letting the people tell you who you are? If it's a negative, why don't we start focusing on the positive? And that's what the therapist told me when I went to see her. She said, don't point out what he's doing wrong or the misstep. Point out what he's doing right. And it reminded me that they say you get more, what? Absolutely. Than vinegar. You get more flies with something sweet, sugar, honey, than you do if you put out vinegar. So we should stop putting out vinegar to ourselves. And that's why I gave you the mirror this morning, because I want you to use it, look in the mirror, and remind yourself how beautiful you are, how talented you are. I bet if we polled everybody in here and said, what do you used to do for a living? What kind of hobby you like? We'd be amazed at the diversity in what people love and they do in this room. That's fantastic. That's beautiful. That's creative. That's all of that. So instead of letting the social media or the news or people in your life tell you or have told you what you're not, Focus on what you are, who you are, whose you are. Beautiful, individualized expressions, unique, talented, creative, serious, loving, compassionate, all of those beautiful superlatives that God is. We cannot be anything else because we're one with the one. So what if? And when you step into all the beauty that you are and embrace it, body type, body size, height, weight, whatever color, whatever they've said that you are. What if they had said, your beautiful expressions of God, go out and make this world great. Instead of focusing on the negative, focusing on the positive. I think that would change the world. Because if I can look in the mirror and say, girl, you're looking good today. Ooh, you go out there and be your God self. And I would step out the door, stand a little taller, and go out, smile at people. That warms you from here on up. What if we did that instead? So in order for us to see the divine within others, anyone, and we're using that word other, because there is no other, we're all God expressing. So if you see somebody that's an other, you need to check yourself. Check your consciousness. So, your call to action is to use those mirrors that reflect back to you the beauty of who God is in this world. And it's not too late because you're here. Oh, you know what? I'm just this age or this pain or this mind, or I'm too set in my ways to change. Well, that's not positive. That's kind of BS, right? Because if we're here, there's still more work to do. If we're here, that means you can still realize that dream that's deep down in your heart that you haven't been able to express in life. And in doing so and seeing yourself and stepping into your creativity and all that you are in spirit, somebody will see that and say, I want what she's having. I want what he's having. I want what they're having. Whatever it is. And then set the world on fire. We can set the world on fire. So practice radical kindness this week to yourself. Focus on yourself this week. You don't have to focus on when you walk out of your door, because if you're focusing on yourself this week and you're beautifully in this beautiful place, it's going to change someone out there when they see you. So I don't know about you, but I'm going to go change some folks this week with my attitude, that the way I step, the way I show up as spirit. So I invite you to do the same thing. Let that divine spark light a flame in you. And what I know about fire is it spreads really fast. And so it is. And it feels so good to be breathing the breath of life today, to be breathing that Spirit of God that is in and through each and every one of us. I feel so good to be in this space, in this place. Once again, as we Show love and compassion for one another. That's what we do in this place. And we learn practical tools that help us to take these and so much more into our daily lives. So I give thanks for this sacred gathering today, for all that has been shared at our tables, from our musicians and from me, from everyone here. You've given of your minds, your hearts, just thank you. And we affirm that we are loved and that everyone else is as well, no matter what they may be demonstrating in the world. They have just forgotten who they are. Confirm that you are compassionate. And may your voice, your movements in this world ease suffering. And may you rejoice in life and celebrate joy in your life. Accept peace, accept love, accept kindness. We talked about relationship with others, loving thy neighbor, and seeing everyone as the divine. And so are you. And we are equipped with what it takes to do so. So when you look in those mirrors, affirm to yourself all the goodness that you are, all the goodness of God, of spirit, whatever you choose to call it. We have been granted a great opportunity to be the expression of spirit right here. And so I see the divine in each and every person here. And what if you embraced it for yourself? What if you loved yourself unconditionally like Spirit loves you? What if? And so blessing this time that we've spent together for all that it is. I let go, I let God, and so it is. And now we will recite our affirmation together. I'll say it once, and then if we can say it together. The affirmation, please, on the screen. Well, it is, I see the divine in every face. As I recognize spirit in others, I awaken to the truth of spirit within me. Let's say it together. Let's say it loud. I see the divine in every face. And as I recognize spirit in others, I awaken to the truth of spirit within myself. Now today, I reverse that, because we have to see it in ourselves first before we can see it in others. So just give me a pass on that one. All right. So who's going to go out and have a great Sunday? So repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called love. Love is in my mind. Love is in my body. Love is in everything I do. I am it. I share it. I receive it. And I move love forward because love lives here. Happy Sunday, everybody.